numerous whistleblowers who have provided information to us both in person and through other means concerning SAPS and other state institutions. When I received the relevant information, I opened the case for SAPS, as I've done previously when information was brought to us as NCC. After reviewing the information, I considered that if the documents were authentic, the allegations would warrant investigation. I therefore proceeded to open a criminal case for the SAPS so the matter could be investigated. Out of all these concerns, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi appears unconcerned that my case dockets were intercepted by Lieutenant General Peter Jacobs and hid in a safe in Pretoria. Lieutenant General Jacobs has never been called to account or charged by any law enforcement agency as far as I know. Please say Annexure F8824. If I may just expand on that one little paragraph. I did find it shocking, Commissioner, that SAPS Grand Central is right across the road from Parliament. It's literally a 3-minute walk. So when I received these documents, I took it to the nearest police station. I mean, this is me thinking I'm doing the right thing. The General is upset with the fact that I went to the police station, but he did not once mention the fact that Peter Jacobs unlawfully took those documents and that it was found in his safe in Pretoria a month later. Now, I wouldn't have known that until it came out here. But I'm saying that the General, to this day, has not asked Peter Jacobs, why would you do that, General? You know, the problem we have on the Cape Flats, murder dockets get missing daily. This is a serious thing to me. Murder dockets, rape dockets, drug dealing dockets, they disappear because of police corruption. Now, if this is not the epitome of police corruption, then someone needs to tell me that so that I understand. The allegation, classified crime intelligence information. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi alleged that I obtained classified crime intelligence information despite not being a member of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. This allegation is denied. During the last week of October, I found a document in my parliamentary office in Cape Town. I presumed that the docket had been pushed under my door because I found it on the floor when I opened the door. Receiving documents in Parliament in parliamentary offices while members are absent is not unusual. Parliamentary administration may place documents under the doors of members. It is also common for members of the public to provide information to members of Parliament concerning various matters, particularly when they are frustrated by government departments' failures to respond to allegations of fraud and corruption. Some persons and organizations have approached the NCC in person. Others provide information to us through third parties, while others have simply dropped documents at our offices. After reading the document, I discussed the matter with my fellow NCC parliamentarian, Honourable Sakina Frenchman. We considered that the information should be passed to SAPS for investigation. I did not meet the person who provided the information and did not unlawfully obtain any information from the JSCI. The assertion by Lieutenant General Mkwanazi that I should have passed the information to the JSCI is, in my view, it's misleading. And it is misleading because at that time there was no JSCI. That body was not constituted. At the time I opened the criminal case with the SAPS, I did not understand the JSCI to have jurisdiction over the criminal complaint that I was reporting. Also, no JSCI was constituted at the time. I am also not the only member of Parliament to have received documents in this manner. In the past, members of Parliament, including Honourable Patricia de Lille, have publicly stated that documents related to significant matters were delivered or placed under their office doors. It has now become, and I don't know if it's true, but from the word go, Commissioner, it wouldn't make sense that someone would only give this information to me. It just wouldn't make sense. The allegation of State Capture 2.0. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi alleged that I was involved in State Capture 2.0, whereby a high-ranking official and members of Parliament were being used to dismantle effective police units. This allegation is categorically denied. I respectfully submit that this Commission should require evidence to substantiate such serious and potentially defamatory allegations. I also just wish to add, I find it funny, Commissioners, that the man who was the National Commissioner at the time of State Capture and didn't say a word about it is now accusing me of being part of State Capture 2.0. It's hilarious. Allegations concerning Paulsmoor Prison. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi said I should go to Paulsmoor Prison and sit there for a while so that I can learn something. I regard such a statement by a high-ranking police officer as deeply concerning. In my view, allowing a senior police officer to make statements of this nature is indicative of a failure by SAPS to hold its members to the required standards. I have made a statement that is deemed to be non-parliamentary and I get docked my salary. This man runs amok. He's a law unto himself. In my view, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi's conduct demonstrates an attitude that he's above the rule of law and that he may make statements without appropriate restraint or accountability. I further contend that such conduct is inconsistent with the standards of discipline expected from a senior police officer. Allegations concerning my complaint to SAPS. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi advised the Commission that the complaints which I filed on SAPS were based on information that lacks substantive criminal elements and that I had encroached upon internal police procedures over which I had no jurisdiction. This allegation is denied. Furthermore, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, to comment upon the contents of my complaints, he must have, in my view, had case of my criminal case dockets. He is, after all, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. I therefore ask how he had sight of case dockets in Cape Town and Gauteng, particularly given the concern raised about his own security clearance. This, in my view, illustrates a broader problem within the SAPS, where case information may be circulated with what I regard as an informal SAPS network or cabal with the effect of protecting those who are who themselves are accused of corruption. I just want to, before I move on to the next the next heading, Commissioners, and just ask you to understand, as someone who loses people daily, and when I tell you I lose people daily, I know dozens of families in every ward in the Cape Flats. When they post tonight that 15 people have been shot, I can guarantee you, I will know 2, 3, or 4 of them. Sometimes in passing, sometimes personally. Sometimes they are related to people that I know. So this type of behavior is unacceptable to me. When I find out that my provincial commissioner at the time, Lieutenant General Patikile, doesn't have a police clearance, it makes my blood boil. Because this man is sitting with intelligence information. He's using this information to sign off on budgets. He's giving operational instructions without the right recognized clearance. It is in actual fact as if, Commissioner Kumalo, to use you as an example, not because you look the part, if you were a taxi driver and you didn't have PDP, that is what they've reduced the South African Police Service to. Now when you find out that out of the 9 provincial commissioners, only 2 have clearance, we understand why our children are dying like flies. Where was I? Allegations concerning classified... I was just teasing our advocate. Allegations concerning classified reports and the Secret Service account. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi alleges that I received and I shared classified reports concerning internal SAPS vetting and the Secret Service account or slush fund, therefore compromising the KwaZulu-Natal political killings task team by exposing its operational funding and vehicle procurement. This allegation is denied. The information available to me indicated an alleged contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. If Lieutenant General Mkwanazi is aware that I possess classified documents and believes that I acted unlawfully, he should have laid a charge at the nearest police station rather than threaten me. Instead, he elects to make public statements against me in the South African media concerning my alleged exposure of corruption, which of his own version he's known about for many years. This is a serious question to me. Everything is known about Chairperson. General Mkwanazi never opened a single case. He indicated that I was being used. That may be his belief, and it in fact may be true, but it does not make the information that I brought to the relevant authorities irrelevant. Allegations that I am a conduit for a criminal cartel. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi alleges that I am a conduit for criminal cartel seeking to weaken the South African Police Service. This allegation is denied and it is false, General Mkwanazi, which have not been properly tested. And I really hope this commission is going to. I thought the PKTT was coming again. On the contrary, Lieutenant General Mkwanazi publicly claimed that fellow generals were innocent, as if he possessed authority equivalent to that of a judicial officer. You see, Judge, when I tell you my evidence is not a conviction, that's because it's not a conviction, it's an allegation. For a general to come on TV and say this one is innocent. He's told the courts that we no longer need them. The investigators will decide. I find this particularly concerning because a magistrate, that statement of Mkwanazi, that General Mkwanazi, that they were innocent, it's concerning to me because a sober magistrate had, on the available evidence, found sufficient grounds to issue an arrest warrant. General Mkwanazi, instead of making allegations against me, should perhaps explain to this commission if he is in actual fact the conduit for Mr. Timi Marimoto, a known criminal, who he is alleged to have a close relationship with. There are in fact allegations that General Mkwanazi has interfered in the arrest of Mr. Marimoto, and it is a fact that Mr. Marimoto's wife has worked in crime intelligence as a police colonel, her first job in the province of KZN, where General Mkwanazi is the provincial commissioner. Now, Chairperson, I assume that Mrs. Marimoto worked in crime intelligence under the tutelage of General Dumasani Kumalo. If crime intelligence cannot understand that a wife of a convicted criminal, an alleged drug dealer, is heading a department, then I am concerned, Chief. Response to paragraph 3, 1.3 of the rules of notice. Am I jumping the gun? I'm sorry, my control issues are taking over here.
No, that's fine. This is the response to the Rule 3 notice. Do you want to proceed with that?
Yeah, this is the part where I get in trouble, but yeah. I also, just before I move on to the Lieutenant General Mkwanazi does allege that I am a conduit for a criminal cartel and that I am trying to weaken the SAPS. The SAPS has weakened the SAPS, Chief, not me. My response to paragraph 1.3 on the Rule 3 notice, in paragraph 1.3
It is really a repeat of what you've said.
Then I will not insist to read it, Advocate.
Can you then go to the next topic on page 43, IDAC?
Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, Commissioners. Just give me 1 second, please. My phones are off. I am extremely concerned and shocked about allegations of impropriety at the Independent Directorate Against Corruption concerning the investigation and concerning the investigating director herself. If these allegations are proven true, I submit that the persons responsible should face the full force of the law. The performance and attitude of IDAC members during the testimony before the Commission was extremely disconcerting and leaves much to be desired for an organization of such importance. The blame shifting, the innuendo, backstabbing conduct that I regard as treacherous and personal grievances revealed point to my view to a seriously dysfunctional organization. In my view, the conduct disclosed during the testimony raises serious questions about whether some members of IDAC are capable of fulfilling the responsibilities. I respectfully hope that the Commission will make serious recommendations concerning those members whose conduct warrants such consideration.
Then response to IDAC witnesses on page 44.
Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, Commissioners. I am not able to comment fully on the various statements made by Head of IDAC, Advocate Johnson, because the matter is under investigation and I do not wish to prejudice the criminal case that is being investigated.
Which case were you referring to?
I laid a criminal case. I laid a criminal case against IDAC, Advocate. I've got the case number on my phone. Can I give it to you during the lunch break?
No, that's fine. You say IDAC, IDAC itself, the institution?
I laid a case against the members of IDAC.
Which members?
Perumal, Brian Pariachi, but I did request that the institution itself, but those were the two names because at the time when I laid the case, I hadn't really heard Andrea Johnson say very much yet at the time. But I did open a case against them for the way in which my case is being handled, for the fact that they came on national TV to discuss the merits of a case that was sub judice, which my attorney told me was totally wrong. So I have laid a case against them. Amongst the things that happened is I was recorded by an advocate. I do not recall giving her permission to do it, or maybe I did, but I don't recall it. The advocate comes here and discusses the content of that recording, which in my view is privileged. Not that I have a problem with what she said, but because I want the whole 2-hour recording to be played here, Chief, because you must hear what she said. You must. But like I say, there are certain issues where perhaps you must guide me, Commissioner. As you've learned in our first session, I'm not a lawyer. Perhaps you must guide me.
Okay.
So based on the issues raised before the Commission, I respond as follows. I relied upon the IDAC official responsible for my commissioning process. Any administrative irregularities were outside my control and do not affect the truthfulness of my evidence. I submitted my complaint when requested. Decisions concerning the registration of a docket were made by investigators, not me. My role was limited to reporting information that I believe warranted investigation. Decisions to investigate and arrest relied entirely with the IDAC and its prosecutors. Questions concerning document management or record keeping should be directed to the investigators responsible for maintaining the relevant files. I appeared of the information I provided and the investigating authority. I stand by the substance of the information I provided and will continue to cooperate with any lawful inquiry. I believe my legal right as a member of parliament, as a citizen, to report information that I believe warranted investigation. Whether to investigate or prosecute was a decision for IDAC and the prosecuting authorities. I had no control when investigators opened a docket. My role ended with providing the information requested from me. Whether my complaint fell within IDAC's legal mandate was for IDAC to determine. I was entitled to submit information. I was not responsible for interpreting the law on behalf of IDAC. I expect investigators to independently verify everything that I report. Their investigative decisions was theirs alone. I supplied information that I believed to be accurate. It was never my role to determine whether sufficient evidence existed for arrest or prosecution. Reporting suspected wrongdoing is not the same as directing arrest. Those decisions were made independently by investigators and prosecutors. Once I provided my statements, responsibility for safeguarding, managing, and presenting those statements rested with IDAC. I humbly request that the Commission should perhaps request the chain of custody of my submitted affidavits from IDAC.
You may proceed, Ms.
Ms.
Ramsamy.
Drushanta Ramsamy, IDAC prosecutor. I confirm that Advocate Drushanta Ramsamy was a member of the IDAC personnel who I met on 6 January to sign my A1 statements. I wish to respond to comments made by Advocate Ramsamy in a testimony, which in my view may have no bearing on the criminal case that I opened with the SAPS. I stated upfront that when I met Advocate Ramsamy, she introduced herself to me as an advocate. It was a one-off meeting and I've not seen her since. I now understand from her own testimony before this commission that she is not an advocate. She is in actual fact a lawyer. Now, Chairperson, if she's brave enough to hand her whole recording over, the first words to me are, I'm Advocate Drew Ramsamy.
My understanding, though, is that within the NPA, they are given or assigned the proposition of advocate just as a position, not so much whether she is admitted as an advocate or as an attorney. That's my understanding.
Okay, Justice, if that's the answer, then I 100% accept it. Okay, I'm just going to move on from the next point.
I think you must read it into the record.
Must I read it into the record?
Yes, I regard the distinction as important because notwithstanding what the chair said, you regarded, she did give the same explanation that the chair is giving. And
no problem, Advocate. I just thought the chair was just correcting me because
okay.
I regarded the distinction as important because I was led to believe that she had the title of advocate. Insofar as she took the time to explain her professional status to the Commission, I believe she did not exercise the same degree of circumspection when she interacted with me. I was extremely surprised to hear from her testimony before the Commission that our conversation had been recorded. I do not believe, Chairperson, she requested my permission as the whistleblower and person providing the information to record the conversation. I absolutely do not recall her asking that question. I do remember that there was a cell phone on that table which was untouched for that whole 2 hours, if I think about it. What concerns me further is a recollection of the events of the day which I met with the IDAC staff. I deal below with my response to various statements made by Advocate Ramsamy. Now, Chairperson, it's just here that I'm a little bit afraid because this issue is under investigation, but I'm going to try to assist the Commission as far as I can. The issues raised by Advocate Ramsamy include 2 different versions of my statements: the authenticity of my S27, the inaccuracy of IDAC's record keeping, the integrity of evidence presented in court and to the Commission, the handling of the interview process, the 2-month delay allegedly involving in opening a case before I came to IDAC, and my possession of the documents. Chairperson, I only gave one account in my interview. Anything that happens after that, Chairperson, that is not my business. Any later differences between documents should be explained by those responsible for preparing and preserving the records. The accuracy and custody of investigation records are matters for IDAC. Once I presented my information, I had no control over how those documents were stored or preserved. I attended the interview in good faith and answered every question from the investigators as honestly as I could. Any inconsistencies in the investigators' documents should be addressed to the investigators and not to me. I opened criminal cases at Grand Central Police Station in Cape Town 2 days after receiving the documents. The case numbers are 1653 of 10, 2024, 1651 of 10, 2024, and 1650 of 10, 2024. After not receiving...
Sorry, Mr. Adams, when you say after receiving the documents, which documents are you referring to?
I'm referring to the documents that I picked up in my office that came
On
through.
your office floor? Okay.
After not receiving a satisfactory response from the Western Cape Police, and on the advice of the late General Andre Lincoln, former head of the anti-gang unit, who I regularly consulted on police matters, I proceeded to Johannesburg to open cases concerning the same matters in another province. Now, Chairperson, I just wish to draw your attention to this. Before I go to Joburg, if my dockets are not stolen, I got no business in Joburg. And if I have no business in Joburg, I would never have heard of IDAC. And that to me, Chairperson, is the part that I trust me when I tell you, I know you don't miss anything, but I think South Africa is missing. That if those dockets are not stolen, which is what they were, I've got no business with IDAC. I opened criminal cases at 2 police stations, namely Orlando Police Station, under case numbers 4310-2024, 44-10-2024, 45-10-2025, and Langlater Police Station under case number 8711-2024. Upon my return to Cape Town, I reported what I regarded as possible impropriety concerning the handling of my criminal cases and the possibility that the investigations were being compromised or deliberately silenced. I emailed the Minister of Police as reflected in Annexure FAA11, in which I raised my concerns regarding the potential compromise of the investigation. Now, Commissioners, you know, when Jerome Kwanazi came to the ad hoc committee, he was the last one to speak. And what he said is, I submitted an email to the Minister at past 6 in the morning, which is not unusual for me because when I go to Parliament, I'm there before 6. But within an hour, the Minister had responded. I regard that as service delivery. However, the truth of the matter is that I sent the Minister the first email regarding my complaints 10 days earlier. The email the Minister responds to is the second one. And that is also what is not being told. Please say FAA11. The Minister did not wake up before he had breakfast and responded to my email. I had sent an email almost 2 weeks prior saying, Minister, something's happening here. He didn't respond to my email, which is why I initially thought the Minister's part of the cover-up as well. And I apologize to the Minister now. I emailed the Minister of Police as reflected in Annexure FAA11, in which I raised my concerns regarding the potential compromise. I've read that already. The then Minister of Police's office directed my complaint to the IDAC on the same day of the second email. Prior to this, I had not known what the mandate of IDAC was or know any person working at IDAC. Advocate Ramsamy also states under oath that she advised me that I'm in possession of the documents, that me being in possession of the documents was a criminal offense. She has admitted that she recorded the entire conversation of my meeting with IDAC, and because I am confident in my truth, I implore this commission to request that recording and play it before the nation. Many things were said, including a claim from Advocate Ramsamy that she had to flee KZN because of an investigation into SAPS and out of fear of Lieutenant General Khumalo. That, Chairperson, is in the recording. I ask that you subpoena that recording because I've emailed IDAC, I've asked for the recording, they've not responded. We have attempted to obtain the recording made by Advocate Ramsamy to prove the lies she talks about me. The strength of the cases I laid amongst other things. Now, Chairperson, after we've finished with my statements, my A1s, after commissioning it, after having handed the evidence that was given, that I had given to, I think I gave it to Raphesu because I think Perumal was busy on the phone. I think, I may be wrong. Mr. Raphesu rather, because Mr. Perumal was on the phone, I think. I went down, I went to smoke. I came back up and she says to me, we have enough to move on 2 cases immediately. That will be in the recording as well, Chairperson. So I'm confused when she comes here. Says to you she recorded the meeting, but says to you in the words of Mr. Raphesu that I gave him foko. And I'm offended by that because the meeting went well. She further stated that it was very strange that there were no cameras in the corridor of my parliamentary office that could show who placed the documents under my door, and that she found it highly improbable that this is how I received the documents. I again refer to the Commission. Please, Commissioners, get that recording. I, Chairperson, did not apply for that office that I received. Parliament issued me with a key. The fact that that camera right there does not reach my office as far as I can see, because when I look out the door, I can't see the camera. She asked me, is there a camera above your door? I said, and it's on the recording, it doesn't cover my office. It's on the recording. Why she finds it suspicious, Chairperson, she must take it up with Public Works because I don't install cameras.
But what will the recording help then? Because she said in her evidence before the Commission that she found it highly improbable that there was no camera near your office.
No,
So what is it that you say the recording will reveal?
the recording will prove that I did not give them focal. She was ready to move on 2 cases, her own words. The recording will also prove that she said to me, and when I think about it, I don't know if she was trying to bait me or to get me to say something. I had to flee KZN because of Khumalo. I had to pack up and come to the Western Cape. She says it. It's on the recording.
Yes, I'm asking about paragraph 394, where you say, she stated that it was very strange that there were no cameras in the corridor of my parliamentary office that should show who placed the documents under my door, and that she found it highly improbable that this was how I received the documents. She said that in her evidence before the Commission.
Yeah.
You say, so why do you